Here at Airsoft Jag, we talk about deals all the time and things on a budget, such as getting your first airsoft gun on a budget, your primer on a budget. Hey, who doesn't love a good deal, right? But why don't we talk about the next thing, the side piece, the thing that rides with you into the airsoft field. Today, we're gonna be talking about pistols on a budget. What's going on, Male Gangs? Boaz here, and today we're gonna be talking about, like I said earlier, budget pistols, okay? So we're gonna be talking about your sidearm, your side piece that you can get that is affordable, it's not gonna break the bank, and does perform pretty well. So everything in this list is going to be something that I personally would recommend if you are on a budget. So what does it mean when I say on a budget? Okay, I'm talking about $100 or less. That's right, every pistol that I'm gonna be going over in this video today, it's gonna be costing you $100 or less. Most of it is going to be less than $100. So without further ado, let's get into the budget sidearm list. Coming in first at this list in no particular order, the first airsoft pistol is going to be the Army Armament R28 1911. I don't know what it is about the 1911 as a platform in airsoft. Every time I think of the phrase budget pistol, the first thing that comes to mind is a 1911. Maybe it's just because they're just so affordable to make now, like all the designs and molds and tooling out there in these factories, they've existed for so long, they're able to drop the price of these down. That's probably the reason why, but man, just look at this thing, the Army Armament R28 in that beautiful peanut butter tan. And let me tell you, when I first started playing airsoft all these years ago, I only had two options for a tan 1911, which was the Kitted Wade 1911 Mark II and the WE Desert Warrior, I believe that's what it's called, 1911. And now look at us. Now look at the market. Tan pistols are everywhere. We're spoiled for choice. Aside from the beautiful peanut butter finish, the Army Armament R28 has a beautifully serrated full metal slide, both in the front and the rear. You get these nice serrations to help you rack the slide back. I love how they complement that with the matte black outer barrel, so clean. And up on the top of the slide, you get a 3 fiber optic dot sighting system. So you have 2 fiber optic sights here on the rear, and then you have your front sight with the green fiber optic dot on front. It just makes aiming so much easier. Moving down towards the full metal frame of the R28, you have your standard 1911 style fire controls with the safety and the beaver tail safety and things like that, and the slide release and the standard mag release. It's standard, okay? But you also get a full-length Picatinny rail section at the bottom of the frame to mount flashlights and lasers. Please, if you run a pistol, please run a flashlight with your pistol. Just saying. You have some other really nice finishing touches, such as a skeletonized hammer and a skeletonized metal trigger. And I love the grip panels on this 1911. It's like a tree bark kind of texture. I don't know, it just feels really good in the hands. And my favorite feature, probably the most subtle, yet probably makes the biggest difference, honestly, when it comes to this pistol, is gonna be a flared magwell. That's right, on a 1911, you get a flared magwell. And especially at this price point, it's kind of crazy. Internally, I mean, come on, this is an Army Armament pistol. So if you guys don't know about Army Armament, they make all their pistols completely Tokyo Marui compatible. So if you wanted to gut this thing, put in a new inner barrel, like a unicorn inner barrel and a unicorn bucking, and if you want to just completely gut the internals and just aftermarket everything, you can, because again, it's Army Armament, it's completely Tokyo Marui compatible. If you run a budget pistol, eventually the parts are gonna wear out. You're gonna want to replace those parts as they wear out. And so it's good to know that the R28 is completely aftermarket compatible with 1911 parts. I hinted a little earlier about the price. How much does the Army Armament R28 go for? Well, currently at Airsoft GI, the Army Armament R28 1911 is retailing for $82. $82! For anyone that's looking to get into a sidearm for Airsoft, honestly, a 1911 platform is probably one of the best ways to go. Again, this is a platform that has existed for such a long time. There's so many aftermarket parts available for this thing. And let's talk about holsters for a second, right? Like the 1911, there's so many holsters for the 1911, both for the airsoft side, if you want to get like an airsoft specific holster or a real firearm holster. These things fit no problem. And especially if you want to like attach a light to this thing, you can find hundreds of holsters available for this thing, especially at a really good price. Again, the last thing, the hidden gem. The hidden gem is this little tiny little magwell over here. I mean, I've never seen anything quite like it offered out of the box. I still have yet to see another company make a flared magwell for a 1911 out of the box. The next pistol on this list, of course, is going to be another 1911. This is the Army Armament R28-2. Surprise, surprise, another 1911. What did I say earlier, right? Budget pistols in 1911s, it's just a thing, okay? And the R28-2, like, this is the sequel, okay? They've done some updates in some areas, and again, I think, especially for the price, this is another great way to go. And of course, there are gonna be some key differences, so let's get into that real quick. Starting out with the slide, they have implemented and updated a tastier peanut butter style tan slide. It's a bit darker, a bit more on the browner side, and I think it looks absolutely killer. You still have the same great serrations on the front and the rear of the slide to make racking the pistol very easy. You still have your standard iron sights. However, instead of fiber optics, they went ahead and just chose like a fluorescent green paint instead. So you have a painted rear sight assembly and you have a fluorescent green painted front sight. Still makes aiming very, very easy to do. You have your nice matte black outer barrel, which in this case is actually threaded. So it does come with a threaded 14mm counterclockwise outer barrel, which is fantastic, especially if you want to mount something like a tracer unit. Now moving down towards the frame, again, you still have your very standard 1911 style safety and fire controls, along with the same great textured like tree bark style pistol grip panels that you get with the original R28. Now, one key difference I think with the frame is that the rail is going to be a little shorter. I think Army Armament figured out that people are trying to run foregrips and grenade launchers underneath their pistols, and they don't want you to do that, okay? So they just added just enough rail space, just enough for you to run a flashlight or a laser. So for the love of God, please run a flashlight with your pistol. Anyway, again, the crown jewel, the pièce de resistance with this thing is that it also comes with the same great flared magazine well for the 1911, and it's absolutely great. It's just game changing. It just makes reloading your 1911 so much easier. For all you 1911 guys out there that still run or rock an Airsoft 1911, you know that sometimes reloading your 1911 can be a bit of a tricky song and dance, because I've ran one for years, okay? But having that mag well, game changing. Internally, again, it's an Army Armament, okay? So you can expect it to be completely Tokyo Marui compatible. Now I have to say a little caveat, okay? Because I know that whenever we say that it's Tokyo Marui compatible, we always get people in the comments, in the DMs saying, hey, I bought this part or whatever, it says TM compatible and it won't fit in my pistol. Listen, okay, TM spec is a loose term. It's a very nebulous term, okay? So please be aware that if you're gonna fit aftermarket parts into this thing, you might have to modify a little bit, do a little shaving, do a little sanding to get parts to fit perfectly. No pistol part is gonna ever realistically 100% of the time fit flush with your pistol, because again, TM compatible is a very loose term. At the end of the day, the Army Armament R28-2 is still a very budget-friendly option, especially if you want something a little bit more different than your typical run-of-the-mill 1911, okay? So at airsoftgi.com, the Army Armament R28-2 retails for $90. It's a little odd because you would expect for a pistol that's like nearly identical to the original R28 by Army Armament that it would be the same price, but for some reason they made it $8 more expensive. I'm not sure how they're able to justify that. Maybe it's because of the different paint that they're using. I do like the darker style slide. I think it looks absolutely killer. And maybe the threaded outer barrel, maybe that's why it costs $8 more. But honestly, $8 aside, again, for well underneath the $100 price point, you can't really go wrong, especially for a good reputable brand like Army Armament. Next up on the list is going to be, of course, the Elite Force Hater. Honestly, you can't say budget pistol without saying the Elite Force Hater. Let's be honest here, the most popular pistol in the market today is going to be the high Kappa platform, and second to that is probably going to be the 1911. So if you want to kind of break from the pack and be a little bit more unique, honestly, the Elite Force Hater is the way to go, especially if you're on a budget. If you want to be different, if you want to be like, I'm not like the other airsofters type of archetype, okay, but you don't want to break the bank, again, Elite Force Hater is the way to go. And it's miles. It's like leaps and bounds better than any other revolver out there on the market today, especially if you want to run this gun competitively. Because yes, there are cooler, there are more authentic looking airsoft revolvers out there on the market, but the biggest downside is that you have to load them individually with the fake imitation bullet shells, right? You put a BB in each one, to load them up into the cylinder, or you have to buy like a special speed loader for it. It's a whole thing. But the thing that sets apart the Elite Force Hater from all the other airsoft revolvers out there is that it uses these little shooting disc thingies, these BB discs, where you load up not 6 but 10 shots. So you're getting more shots than your typical revolver, and they're way easier to store and they're faster to reload. So this is probably the most competitive airsoft revolver on the market today. If you guys don't know about the Elite Force Hater, this gun has been around for a very long time and will continue to be around for a very long time because of how unique and crazy usable this revolver is. And going over just the externals, this is going to be almost completely made out of polymer. I mean, the outer barrel assembly and the main body of the gun, the grip, yeah, pretty much it's all polymer, but I believe the internal components are going to be made out of metal where it needs to be metal. The gun is actually surprisingly pretty hefty when you pick it up. I will say though that the trigger and the hammer are going to be made out of metal as well. But other than that, yeah, it's pretty much all made out of polymer. If you go along the top of the barrel here of the Hater, you're gonna see immediately that you have your triple dot fiber optic sights. So your rear sights are gonna be made with that nice fluorescent green fiber optic, and you have a nice green fiber optic front sight. Makes aiming a breeze. However, they have a Picatinny section on the top. So if you wanted to run a micro red dot like an RMR style, or I don't know what else you would want to run on this thing, you can. And honestly, this is probably the only like optics ready pistol on the list on this video. So that's pretty cool. Honestly, it's probably the cheapest optics ready pistol on the market today. You also get a nice full length Picatinny section on the bottom of the barrel assembly of the Hater, so you can run your flashlights. I think ergonomically it's gonna be a little weird to run a flashlight or laser. I don't know, the rail system is there if you want to use it. The controls on the Elite Force Hater are gonna be a little bit unique. So like most airsoft revolvers out here on the market today, you're gonna have a modern double action trigger. So what does that mean? Well, traditionally with single action revolvers, you need to manually pull the hammer back to get a trigger pull. And honestly, you can still do that with the Hater. It makes the trigger pull actually really easy to do. So if you really want to like cowboy fan this thing, you can. But if you don't want to do that, you don't have to, because you can literally just pull the trigger and it's going to fire. Now, the next most important thing about learning to use this gun is going to be the disc release, I guess you would say. There is a little button here that you need to slide. It's like bring it down toward the little maze thing, the little L-shaped thing, right? You push the button there, and then you can easily slip out your BB disc. So you need to make sure to do that every time you run an ammo and you need to reload. Elite Force is pretty generous when it comes to supporting the Hater platform. They've released a bunch of different iterations of the Hater, which is pretty sick to see. But more importantly, out of the box, you don't just get the one disc to have the 10 BBs. No, they give you 4 extra discs. So it's equivalent of giving you like 4 extra magazines out of the box. Elite Force will also sell extra packs of these discs. And the best thing is that they're cheap. They're really cheap because it's just a piece of plastic. So you don't, honestly, if you wanted to just like toss the discs after you use it, honestly, not a big deal, right? It's not as big of a deal as losing a $30 or $40 magazine. Now let's talk about the internals. Is it Tokyo Marine compatible? Are you kidding me, bro? Tokyo Marine doesn't make the Hater. Of course not. It's gonna be Elite Force's original design, meaning, are there aftermarket internal components you can buy? Probably not to my knowledge at least, okay? But I will say this, the Hater is like, it's really reliable. Like, these things are absolute tanks, and the reason why is because there's very little moving parts. So generally with airsoft pistols, the reason why they wear and tear and break down is because they have a lot of moving parts, right? A lot of parts that move around internally in the gun, more areas for it to fail in the long run. But not with the Hater. The only thing that really moves is the hammer and the trigger, and maybe the little rotating cylinder thing. Not a lot of moving parts, they last a long time. And one thing to note is that this is powered by CO2, so you will need to buy CO2 cartridges with this thing. It's stored at the bottom of the pistol grip, and they do give you a little hex key here at the top. They do give you that little tool so that you can adjust the hop-up at the very top of the barrel assembly. And let me tell you, this is a TDC hop-up. It's a top-down center hop-up, which is really good. The Elite Force Hater revolver retails for $85 at airsoftgi.com. Do you see what I mean when I say that the Elite Force Hater is going to continue to be around for a very long time? It's because of the price. It's $85. And especially if you're tired of running your typical high kappa or 1911. Like, this is not made for the beginner who just wants a unique sidearm. No, like this is pretty much for any kind of airsoft player that just wants to have a usable revolver and get really satisfying revolver kills on the airsoft field. And honestly, whether you are a beginner or an experienced player looking to change the way you play. Going back to more familiar territory, the next pistol on this list is going to be the Jag Arms 4.3 GM4 Gen 2 High Kappa. It's a high kappa. Okay, what else is there for me to say? It's a 4.3 high kappa. Okay, it's probably one of the most popular airsoft pistol platforms out there on the market today. So if you want to play it safe, if you want to get a pistol that is easily worked on, very well known by a lot of self-pronounced airsoft pistol builders, the Jag Arms GM4 4.3 is, again, the way to go. Let's look at this gun externally. We're talking a full metal build. So you get a full metal slide with the nice serrations on the front tubber. Nice and simple, because it's budget, right? It's a budget pistol, so nothing crazy, okay? It does have that nice peanut butter finish. It's the reason why I picked it. And you have your standard front and rear 4.3 high kappa style sights. Moving down towards the frame, full metal frame, you get a nice full travel rail system for any kind of flashlight or laser unit you want. You have your standardized high kappa safety and fire controls, along with, I love this grip module, trigger guard grip module for this high kappa, because you have this nice aggressive double undercut trigger guard, which gives you a very comfortable grip when you're gripping the high kappa. And you get this really nice accented, I guess you'd say like puzzle style skeleton trigger, which just gives it a little subtle bit of flair. One thing I really want to touch on real quick is this grip module that Jag Arms includes with all of their in-house made high kappas. Like this nice like hexagonal kind of texture pattern. And honestly, it feels really good in the hands, especially for a gun that's not like hand stippled. I mean, you could go ham on this grip module and just stipple it yourself, but just out of the box, it gives you the right amount of bite on your hand when you hold this thing. And I think it looks really sick, even when you're just looking at the gun. Internally, the Jag GM4 4.3 high kappa is 100% Tokyo Marui compatible. Again, grain of salt when we say Tokyo Marui compatible, but from our testing, we're able to pretty easily fit almost any Tokyo Marui high kappa upgrade part we've had and just threw it at it, and it readily accepted it, which is very good to see. Now, when I talk about the performance of Jag high kappas, like, I don't know if you've seen our old video for the Jag series of the GM4 high kappas. They're buttery smooth and they're really gas efficient. Like, I don't know what they did, but it just cycles so well. This is the same company that makes the Combat Master, that make all the Terran Tactical like high kappas and the Pit Vipers, right? Same company that makes it. So they have that. Again, I don't know what it is, buttery smooth, and I love how strong their hammer spring is. Just listen to this thing. Just listen to this thing right now. Oh, like I could feel the hammer slam into the slide. Very positive response, and it's an absolute blast to shoot, especially for a high kappa right out of the box. When it is all said and done, how much for this budget high kappa? Well, the Jag Arms GM4 4.3 Gen 2 high kappa is retailing for $100 at airsoftgi.com. $100 for a base high kappa platform is honestly a very good deal. Now, before you start railing away at me in the comments saying, oh yeah, like on your website, there's like way cheaper high kappas out there. Yes, I know. But the reason why I put this Jag specific high kappa on this list is because that Jag designed this pistol just for you to use it as is. The other more affordable high kappas on the market, yes, they will run for a while, but eventually, right, parts will wear out, and they've pretty much designed these pistols for you to actually go in and upgrade it and to soup it up to your heart's content, but not with this Jag GM4. Of course, yes, you can upgrade the snot out of it. You can very much do that, but Jag, when designing this pistol, when designing their high kappas, they made it so that way, if you wanted to, you could run this thing bone stock for years and not have any problems, which is why, again, I put this pistol on the list. The final pistol on this list, and arguably probably the most bang for your buck value pistol, is going to be the HFC HG106B. Now hold on there, you might be thinking I'm pranking you or something, or pulling a fast one on you. Just please listen, just hear me out real quick, okay? This is unironically probably one of the best value pistols you can get on the market today, and I'm gonna explain to you why, okay? Like, this is not like a cheap Springer pistol. this is a gas pistol. Can you believe it? It's a gas pistol. And especially for the nice little form factor, it has the fake wood textured grip module here, which is really nice. You have a nice little silver trigger. It even has a functional safety. Yeah, it even has a functional safety on the left side of the pistol. Easily actuated with your thumb. It's actually a very smart place to put it. And it has a threaded barrel. Threaded barrel for what, you might ask? Well, they give you, right out of the box, they give you this little mock suppressor and that you can just thread on. If you just excuse me for a moment, there you go, there you go, there you go. Ah, so now you're like a sneaky spy on the airsoft field. And this is a semi-auto gas pistol, believe it or not. Like I said earlier, externally, there's not really much to talk about. I mean, you're not gonna get a reciprocating slide. It's a full plastic build on the outside. It is a little hefty though, so I'm pretty sure that they did put metal where metal needs to be on the inside of this pistol, but you know, that being a gas pistol. But if you look at the magazine, here's a little stick magazine. I believe you could put like anywhere between like 10 to 15 rounds. It's a single stack magazine in here. Real quick, there's no magazine release on this thing, so you just yank out the magazine and you just shove it back in when you need to, and you actually put green gas in the pistol grip of the gun. So I'm assuming they do have a metal gas reservoir in here, and you're pretty much ready to go. And I will say, just out of the box, because this is a non-blowback pistol, it's a very, very quiet pistol. Like again, this is a mock suppressor, so it does not deaden or quiet the gun in any way. It's just a cosmetic thing. But even just with this as is out of the box with no mock suppressor, very quiet pistol. You could sneakily get some nice stealth kills on the airsoft field with this. So why on earth did I say that this is probably the best bang for your buck value pistol out there? Well, it's because of the price, man. Currently at Airsoft GI, the HFC HG106B retails for $24. Yeah, you heard me right, 24 bucks. This is like every budget airsofter's dream sidearm. It's $24, and you could easily just take this to an airsoft field. It's gonna automatically pass chrono because this is like shooting way under 300 FPS. And you could easily stow this. Like, you don't even need a holster for this. You put this in a pocket, put this in like a magazine pouch on your chest rig or plate carrier. You could hide it underneath your pants if you wanted to. I've had friends that did that for some Milsim games. And it's just kind of a no-brainer thing to have, especially if you want to just have fun around the house. Like, this is not only made for you to play with at an airsoft field. Like, you could easily just get this as a gift for a friend, or you could just buy a couple of these, take it out to the backyard, put on some eye protection, obviously, and you guys can just have nice little fun 1v1s at the comfort of your own home. You could also invite your friends and family over to play some nice target practice with some cans and stuff. Like, the possibilities are endless with this thing. And the fact that this is not a Springer, that this is a semi-auto gas pistol, honestly, it kind of blows my mind that you can get it for as low as $24. Thank you guys for sticking around and checking out our top 5 best budget pistols list. Now, of course, we didn't put every single budget pistol in one video. There will be a part 2 coming, so please, if you're not satisfied with the pistols on this list, please keep an eye out, because there's hundreds, if not thousands, of airsoft pistols on our website. So if you guys don't want to wait around, please make sure to check out Airsoft GI. Okay, we have tons of budget sidearms, and I don't know what it is, man, but like, having a sidearm on the airsoft field, for me, like, it's like insurance. You know, like, if I run out on the airsoft field without a pistol on my side strapped to my hip, I feel naked. I don't know what that is. If you guys feel the same way, please make sure to voice that in the comments section below. If you guys like what you're seeing, if you want to see more content, please make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, like the video, and press that bell icon to get notified of every time we upload a new video. But if you really want to directly support the content, if you really love what we do, if you want to continue seeing this amazing free content, if you want to help keep that camera rolling and the lights on, please make sure to go to Airsoft GI for all your airsoft needs. This is Boaz, and we'll see you next time, Mayo Gang.